Well, today's tech gains are a bit of a rebound from last week. In that first week of trading for 2024, the best performing sectors on the S&P 500 were healthcare and utilities. The worst was tech. But our next guest is still overweight on tech and thinks there are opportunities to be found in the sector this year. For more, let's bring in Brian Belski, Chief Investment Strategist with BMO Capital Markets. Brian, Happy New Year. Nice to connect with you. So tech, what are you thinking when it comes to tech for 2024?
Well, Happy New Year, Jack, and good afternoon, Canada. You know, tech is an important sector, I think, across all markets, both Canada and the United States. I think many Canadian clients missed the fact that at one point last year, Jack, the Canadian technology sector was outperforming the U.S. technology sector. Much has been made of the Magnificent Seven, especially the concentrated performance in 2023. I think people kind of lose sight that technically only 3 stocks in the Magnificent Seven are technically tech stocks, that being Apple, NVIDIA, and Microsoft. We believe that technology stocks will continue to outperform in 2024, not to the tune or momentum that they did in 2023. Remember, a big part of the tech rebound in the beginning of the year, about a year ago, what was happening right now, was these stocks were so oversold the previous year, and you had a lot of investors kind of swoop back in and buy those oversold levels. That was really the first thing that got technology stocks going. But needless to say, we think technology stocks are the strongest growth sector in the United States, where financials are the strongest value sector.
When you're thinking about, just to stick with technology for a quick second longer, when you're thinking about, you mentioned how some of those companies aren't really tech necessarily, but some are you thinking that there's more potential with the real, you know, the NVIDIAs, the AMD, we were just talking about some of the new chips that they unveiled at CES. Are you thinking more along those lines, or what exactly would you have your sights set on?
It's a great question. We think you want to be much more particular. You don't have to own all the semiconductor stocks, own the best ones. And from our view, the best semiconductor companies are NVIDIA and AMD. We've owned NVIDIA especially for the last 5 or 6 years. But I also think you want to pair those higher growth, let's call them go-go semiconductor companies, with maybe more value-ish names. Like Broadcom has had a heck of a run the last 6 months, but still relative value, especially considering and compared to AMD. But also Qualcomm, we think, is a great value stock that has great cash flow and actually growing their dividends. And pair that up with the amount of a position that you have with AMD. I think that's a way to barbell the semiconductor space in the United States and provide a little bit more defense.
Are there other, you mentioned financials, so in the U.S., what are you thinking in terms of financials? Are you thinking of some of the big ones, the big banks that we're going to start hearing from at the end of this week, or are you thinking smaller, those regional banks that we also talked a lot about last year?
Well, there's 2 primary themes. The first theme would be scale, and that's why we like the big banks, namely Bank of America, Berkshire Hathaway, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and we've recently been adding a lot more to our Citigroup position. Citigroup we've owned in our value portfolio for a while, but we've kind of supplanted JP Morgan for Citigroup, especially considering the negative sentiment there. But we do believe that the broader market trends of broadening out will also happen in financials, and we've added a lot more of the regional names, more of a basket, let's call it, relative to owning just 1 or 2. We want to make sure that we're in that space as loan growth, we think, comes back and we start to see, I believe, less regulation going forward. Are
there any, particular areas where you're hearing people get excited about that you're thinking, not this year or not just yet?
Well, the Matt would be, I think healthcare is going to be an area that's going to struggle a little bit still. I think there's a bit of a COVID hangover with respect to big cap pharma. It doesn't mean you can't own them or shouldn't own them. It's a big part of the U.S. market, almost 15%, or a little over, I should say. So we want to be very particular. And the biotechs has been an area that have been underperforming, but great balance sheets. So the Gileads and Amgens of the world we really like. We still like United Healthcare is a fantastic company. And so I think you have to be very particular in the healthcare side. I would also think energy I think there's still a lot of energy bulls out there. And one thing that we have been cautioning people on is that energy companies are very highly correlated to WTI. If WTI continues to weaken, we think energies, particularly in the United States, will underperform.
What about some of these aircraft makers? We're talking about Boeing quite a bit today, but we know that there's a backlog when it comes to orders for Boeing, more so for Airbus. But when you're thinking about that sort of part of the market, what are you thinking about?
Well, it's really interesting because I don't know if you're following the weather, but there's a big weather pattern coming in. They call it the nor'easter in New York, and I'm trying to get to New York tomorrow. And so I booked a flight, and all of a sudden my flight was canceled. And I think, it was probably weather. No, it was a MAX 9 aircraft. And so I quickly had to get another airplane. But, Boeing's had some issues. And you mentioned in your preamble some reputational risks. There has been some operational issues with Boeing the last few years. We've exited Boeing in all portfolios except for one in our value portfolio. And we think there is some longer term value there because of their core businesses, Jacqueline. But there are some reputational risks that Boeing has to come out and really put up results and prove that they're doing the right things in terms of especially this issue that they had over the weekend.